Hey guys, so I'm back. Welcome back to my recap of 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, Season 2, Episode 15. Overall, I thought this episode was kind of boring. They did a lot of summarizing of what happened in the beginning of the season, but still we didn't really see much movement. So with that being said, I took notes and let me just go through each one. The only couple we did not see was Devin and Jihoon. So let me first start off with Jenny and Sumit. So this takes place with Sumit going to meet his parents. He's going to sit down with them and he's going to tell them that Jenny is the person that he wants to be with. So he's talking to his parents, and at first he tells his parents, and his parents say, like, say what you want to say, but we don't accept her. She's too old for you. In 10 to 15 years, you're going to have to be taking care of her. What about us? Taking care of us. And, like, it looks bad on us. Like, society will look down on us. And Sumit is trying to convince them that, like, Mom and Dad, I love who I love. Like, why can't I be with who I love? And I guess it's gonna cost $20,000, I don't know if that's USD or whatever, to settle the divorce. And they're talking about how expensive it was. But then Sumit brings up, and it gets very, very emotional during that time of just like, I did it your way. I got married to the person you wanted me to get married to. It didn't work out. I told you many times that I did not want to be here. I did not like it. He was suicidal, and Sumit's the one who got himself out of the relationship, and his parents didn't help. So he was just kind of like, where were you guys when I was telling you guys I hated it here, when I told you guys I didn't want to be here? Where were you guys? So I did appreciate that his parents took full responsibility of what happened, but like, he did it your way, so you kind of should let him do it his way. So he also, let me see what else. So his parents come to the conclusion that they're going to try their best to accept her. Then Sumit meets with Jenny and tells Jenny everything that happened. And Jenny was just like, I don't want you to have to choose between my parents and me and blah, and Sumit was just like, I wouldn't have, like, that's not an option. I'm not choosing between you guys. And the problem is not 100% solved, but at least it's not like where it used to be. But it's going to take a lot for his parents to accept them, which I don't even think is going to happen. So next we have Armando and Kenneth. So their timeline is moving much slower than other people's timeline because he's only been there for a week. And they're heading over to meet his family. Armando's also planning on announcing that he's engaged. When they're in the car, he takes off the ring and tells Kenneth that, like, I'm going to talk to my family, I'm going to take it off, tell my family I'm engaged, and then put it back on. So I do like that Kenneth, he can't speak the language, but he's asked, like, okay, what should I do? How should I act when I greet your parents? And he gives him like the 1-2-1-2 rundown. So he finally gets, like, they both get there, and it's very late at night because it's like very dark, and his family's around. They're by like a fire thing, and they're just kind of like hanging. And it's just very, very awkward because one thing, there's a like language barrier, so they can't communicate with each other. But everyone also knows that, like, this is Armando's boyfriend. So it was a little bit awkward between the mom and Armando and Kenneth, but she's like doing what like moms do. She puts on a brave face for her child. So she's like, okay, let me grin and bear it. So everything is fine. They're talking everything. And then I guess I don't remember who brings up meeting the dad, but the dad is inside the house, which, why is he inside the house and everybody's outside when there's a guest you're trying to greet? So the mom ends up getting the dad outside, and the dad greets Armando and gets to meet Kenneth. So he meets him. They meet for 2.5 seconds. The guy goes, He's like, okay, I'm back in. Armando's mom say, I think her name is Virginia, says that like his dad is tired and that's why they couldn't meet. But like, we know the reason why. And you could tell that like Kenneth was just like, it's a no for him, dog, because he does not seem like he is going to tolerate this. He just rather the whole situation be out of sight and out of mind versus tolerating it. So then that happens. They go back speaking with the family. Then Armando announces that he's engaged. When he said that, I thought them would be like, oh my god. Everyone's just like, it was so awkward. No one said anything. No one even said congratulations. No one even said like, oh, like to acknowledge like, oh, you said something. Everyone was just kind of like, And it was so awkward. And then at the end, Armando asked his mom like, hey, it's late, can we stay here? And her mom, like his mom was kind of like being weird about it, but his mom's just like, yeah, you could stay. And Armando's like, well, you're not gonna ask dad if we're allowed to stay? And she's like, we don't need to ask dad, like, don't worry, just stay. Which, if my mom says I'm staying, first off. And I feel like his dad's gonna find out eventually that he's engaged. So I don't know, like him waiting for as long as he's gonna wait is not gonna do anything. Anyways, next couple, we have Ariella and Binyam. And they found an apartment. I don't know if they said how much it cost, but they found an apartment that's near the hospital that looks very nice, considering where they were going to live initially. Ariella's complaining about how it looks and needs paint. Like, who cares? You also still need things for your child, so let's have priorities aligned properly. So then her mom and dad, I guess, are coming 2 weeks before or within a 2-week range, and her mom is going to be bringing stuff for the baby. So stuff, I guess, either they need or they can't get from in Ethiopia. So they have that. But there's also things that they need to get there. Because I don't see a crib, I don't see any of that stuff. I have yet to see diapers or anything like that. And it's very known that like Ariella is paying for most of this stuff because Binyam cannot afford what he's looking for. And then with that being said, before that, Ariella also talks about Binyam being an equal contributor in when it comes to the care of the child. Binyam saying like, alright, cool, but then telling the producers and confessionals that like usually in Ethiopia it's the woman's job to take care of the man. That is true if you can take care of our lifestyle, but you can't afford where we're living, so you're gonna have to put in work when it comes to taking care of the child, because I'm sorry, your dancing and martial arts is not paying the bills. So I said what I said. So then he convinced her that like they need a car because to get to his jobs that are not making enough money to put a roof over their head, it's going to be hard for him to travel without a car. So they go to the car dealership, and then they have the option of buying a 2008 Yaris, some kind of Yaris. I'm not really great with cars. And to find out, it's like 22,000 USD. Cars are sometimes expensive in other countries because they get imported and the taxes on it. Like, you would think Ariella's never been outside of the States and she's been traveling. Like, her job is like traveling. She would know that. Some things are way more expensive in other countries, whether it be third world countries, and then there's some things that are cheaper. Like, either way, the way their way of life kind of balances out. Like, a first world country versus a third world country, it balances out, like with the money, with the numbers and stuff like that. You can't expect to be living on an American salary in Ethiopia. Like, it doesn't work that way. So they went to look at cars. It's so expensive. I don't think they need to be buying a car because they don't have that much savings. It seems that way, and they're not making enough money to be adding on another bill to their monthly expenses. So that's how I feel about that. So then she goes to get an ultrasound. She's, I guess, a week away from being due, and she finds out her baby is still breached, and like, her baby needs, because obviously your baby cannot be born foot first, your baby needs to be turned around. She doesn't have a lot of amniotic, I think it's called. I don't know. Never had kids, so don't know. But whatever fluid she has is really low, and it's too low that she doesn't have enough fluid to even like flip the baby. And then she needs to have a C-section that day. And then it's just like full-blown shock. And I was like panicking for Ariella, because I was just like, it's one thing if you're in pain or you're bleeding or something where you're just like, oh, okay, I might have a baby. But she's perfectly like in good health, went to get a C-section, an ultrasound, listened to the baby's heartbeat, normal stuff, and now she sees this and she's panicking. So she is going to have a C-section. And we'll see, I guess, the next episode of her C-section. So next we have Brittany and Yazin. So Brittany is in Chicago, visiting her sister to finalize the divorce. She tells her sister what happened in Jordan and tells her about Yazin's parents and their expectations of her and their religion, and she's not seeing eye to eye with them right now. So she prepares for her court date and she goes into court. She comes out with some envelopes, and she's just like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. And you're just kind of like, wow, what happened? What happened? And find out that she has to refile with the government because they have no record. They didn't enter anything in the system. Somebody effed up on what they were supposed to do, and now she has to start from square one. And because she starts from square one, that means not only does she have to be in the US longer, it's going to be longer for her to get married. And it's just going to be more lies she'll have to tell Yazin and his family. And I felt like she was acting like, well, I was going to tell them about me being married, but then they got all like rude with me, and I'm just like, if you're still planning on being with this guy, this is something that you need to address right away. The longer it takes and the more lies that you tell are not going to help the situation, but I don't know, she's going to do what she's going to do. So last but not least, we have Tim and Melissa. Still don't know why they're on the show, because they never seemed like they were together. Tim has a job interview, and he worries about his future living in Colombia because he needs to be able to support himself and find a company that's willing to sponsor him, and there's just a lot of work involved with him living in Colombia. So then Melissa reveals the secret she was keeping from Tim, and the secret was when they were on a break or separated, I don't know, she was seeing other people. She was dating to the point that she had what it seemed like either a friends with benefits or just benefits relationship with somebody at some point during that break. And she is going to come clean to Tim about it. To me, if you guys weren't together, I don't believe in breaks. If you guys were not together, you could do whatever you want. But if you guys were on a break, I would still consider that cheating, because you guys are not necessarily over each other, or not seeing each other. You guys are taking a break from each other, which is already weird to me. But she had a sexual relationship with a man, and she needs to tell him that. I don't know what Tim's emotions are gonna be or what he's gonna do, but like it's whatever at this point. I feel like they shouldn't be together, because they haven't looked like a couple in all the episodes I've seen them in. But with that being said, this is my recap of 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, season 2, episode 15. Unfortunately, I won't be here. I won't be home, so I won't be able to do an episode next week, but I will double up on the week after that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
I'm just a dumb cunt, fucking sick and tired of it. Maybe I could front look, maybe I could buy a zip, maybe I get fucked up. Next time I could save some. Why it's gotta be like this? Why it's gotta be that way? Put it inside. Feel so rise up, banging on that loud.